The Time Ponies and the Cutie Remark Thief versus the Queen of Hearts. Written and read by My Name is R. So, have you ever thought much about time? It's a fascinating topic, but as much as I would love to talk about it all day, the truth is we know very little about it. So, what happens when some pony breaks time? Well, that's what this story is about. For this is the story of the first big time crisis since Twilight sent a message to her past self. This is the story of how Starlight Glimmer broke the timeline, and of how she set out to fix it with our help. After all, who better to help fix the timeline than those who have been working with time for years? Extra Time, keeper of the minutes for the Time Ponies. For a story centered around time travel, paradoxes, and the like, the timeline is really straightforward. Probably because all of the time travelers are trying to avoid causing any more paradoxes. I will be going into the science of time mechanics, but don't worry, I'll just stick with entry-level stuff. I'm no Twilight, just a high school graduate with a college physics textbook. Also, the Queen of Hearts in the title is not the one from Alice in Wonderland. They are a canon character you likely know. No crossover tag, after all. R, the actual author. The other guy is just an in-universe record keeper. Chapter 1. Troubling Time Tidbits and Disturbing Discoveries. Time. What is time? Is it a dimension, like left and right, up and down? Or is it like a cloth, draped under all of reality, constantly stretched by any sufficiently massive object? Is it like a piece of thread, a river, or a fork? In truth, it is all of these things, and none. In the end, the most important thing about time is that it's complicated. But don't worry, you have me. I'll help you understand the weave of time as we journey from the beginning to the end, even if those don't line up like normal. One day, Starlight was sitting in Twilight's library studying magic. At this point, you can probably discern that day was after Twilight took her on as a pupil, which is a wonderful time story, but that is a tale for another day. In fact, this day was shortly after Starlight had reunited with her old friend Sunburst. On this fine afternoon, she was studying the leading theories on time travel when she came to a disturbing passage. "Hold on, that can't be right," Starlight said. She looked over the passage again. It has been theorized that within the confines of one universe, time travel can never alter the past substantially, as any change large enough to alter the reasons for the initial travel would cause a paradox. In order to avoid this, the universe has multiple defenses. One way is to always have the travel, and the original reason for the travel is misguided, possibly even caused by time travel. This is known as a closed loop, or stable loop. How the first travel occurred, or if it indeed does have a beginning, is as yet unknown. Another possible defense is known as the duplication defense. This is when the timeline is so irreconcilable that the universe splits in two, with the time traveler coming from the original universe, the unaltered one, and passing into the new, altered universe. If that's true, then that timeline Twilight showed me, and all the others she saw... Starlight stood up. I need to check these theories. Starlight trotted out of the library. She went along until she got to Twilight's room and knocked. But when the door opened, she saw it was Spike's bedroom. "Oh, hey Starlight," Spike said cheerily. "What's up?" "Oh, well, I was actually trying to tell Twilight I'm going on a trip into town, but I still can't seem to find my way around." "No problem. I'll tell her for you," Spike offered. "Thanks, Spike, and I think I can find my way to the exit. Bye." Starlight headed through the castle, finding the large front doors without any trouble. At least they were distinct from all the other doors. Starlight decided to start her search at the post office. She had discovered a secret society based around time travel, known as the Time Ponies, back when she was planning her revenge on Twilight, and she thought they might be able to help her with her concerns. All she had to do was find a member to talk to. Fortunately, she had the identity of one, Dr. Time. All she had to do was see if he had a mailing address. Once she had made her way to the post office, she walked in and saw a gray pony with a blonde mane standing at the counter. "Hello!" called the pony cheerfully. "How can I help?" "I was wondering if you could help me find some pony called Dr. Time. I don't know where he lives." "If you have a letter, I can take it for you," the mayor answered with a smile. "Actually, I kind of wanted to see him in person," said Starlight. "Could you look up where he lives for me?" The mayor frowned. "I'm sorry, but the Ponyville Post has a strict policy not to share any pony's address. Sorry." "Oh, sorry to bother you then." Starlight laughed sheepishly and turned away. But then an idea hit her and she turned back. "Say, do you know who I should ask?" You could try asking Miss Derpy Hooves. I know she could tell you," the mayor answered, smiling once more. "All right, where can I find her?" Starlight asked. "Oh, I'm Derpy!" Derpy smiled broadly. Starlight blinked. "So, can you tell me where to find him? Please?" The mayor frowned. "I'm sorry, but the Ponyville Post has a strict policy not to share any pony's address. Sorry." Starlight sighed. "Can you take me to see him when your shift is over?" "Who?" asked Derpy, causing Starlight's eye to start twitching. Then Derpy shook her head. "Oh, you must mean Time Turner. Sure, I can take you as soon as my shift is over at 5. Starlight took a deep breath, then let it out. "Thank you. I'll see you then. Bye!" At 5 o'clock, Starlight was once more walking up to the post office. As she began crossing the street, Derpy stepped outside. "Hello again," she called out. "So, can you please take me to see Time Turner?" "Sure, I live right next door to him, so it's on my way." And at this, Derpy began trotting off, with Starlight following behind her. "So, why do you want to see Doc, anyway? Are you looking for an invention? He doesn't normally take requests." "Actually, I am curious about his work, and wanted to discuss it with him. I'm a bit of a natural with time spells. Thought maybe we could swap notes?" By the end, Starlight was grinning nervously and avoiding eye contact. "I bet he'll love that. He likes to talk about time whenever he gets the chance. I think you two will get along just great." "Hey, we're here," said Derpy, pointing out a large, brown house with peeling paint. It sat between a smaller house with a cheerful yellow paint job and another larger house with lots of flowers. "Would you like me to introduce you?" "No, thank you. I'll just introduce myself." "Okay, goodbye." Derpy waved and walked into the little yellow house. Starlight knocked on the door of the brown house and waited. And waited. "Hello? Is any pony home?" She knocked harder and the door popped open. "Hello?" "What was that?" a voice called from the back of the house. "Derpy, is that you?" A light brown stallion with a dark brown mane walked into view. "Hello. Do I know you?" "No, I wanted to discuss the duplication defense theory, and I knew you were an expert in the field." "Ah, yes. Certainly. Would you like a seat?" He gestured to 3 seats around a circular table with various mechanical bits scattered across the surface. "Sorry for the mess. I wasn't expecting company today." "Thank you," said Starlight, taking a seat. "I'm sorry to drop in unexpectedly. I only realized I had a problem this afternoon." "Oh? What sort of problem?" "I may have done a tiny bit of rewriting time and causing the desolation of Equestria." "Great Wickering Stallions! That does sound like a serious problem. Did you fix it?" "See, that's the problem. I think that all that is over, but then I ran across that theory, and I'm worried I may have left a big mess of things." "That theory?" said Time Turner, before shaking his head. "Oh, right. The duplication defense theory. Yes, I'm not sure of that one, but it is certainly possible. Perhaps we could try to establish a connection with the other worlds that have been theoretically created through time travel. Of course! Then, if they are there, we'll find them. I've heard that Star Swirl did some work on finding other worlds. If we combine that with seeking the magical signature of my time spell, then we can make sure to find the right worlds. Brilliant! I'll send a letter to Minuet and ask her for the relevant works of Star Swirl, and one to Pace to help me build the machine. Hold on, you know Minuet? And what machine? I thought we would just design the spell, said Starlight. Minuet is one of the members of a club I put together. As for the machine, while we will need a spell, the machine will focus it with greater precision than a unicorn. It will also help stabilize the spell. We wouldn't want any power fluctuations during spell work this intense. That's a good point. So, you put together the time ponies? Oh, you've heard of us? Wonderful. I didn't think any pony other than friends of members knew. Wait, it's not a secret? Secret? No, it's just not a big group. I think we have about a dozen members at the moment. Oh, silly me. I thought it was this big secret organization, controlling all sorts of time things from the shadows and stuff. Not really. It's more of a club for people who like to discuss time's many intricacies. As far as I know, I'm the only member who's actually tried to perform time travel. I was close, but I ended up scrapping that project. It was too temperamental, and I wasn't willing to risk destroying the planet. Destroying the planet? Asked Starlight, with shock written all over her face. Fortunately, that project never made it past the blueprints. Otherwise, we might not be here now. Oh. Okay. So, I'll come see you again next week? I'll send you a letter when we're ready to begin work. Turner began rummaging through his cupboards. Right. I guess I'll wait for your letter then. It was nice meeting you. Oh, yes, likewise. Cheerio! Starlight walked out of Turner's house and began heading toward Twilight's castle. Well, that was an interesting outing. And so our journey begins. I have Chrome Masquerade to thank as my editor, as well as my little sister who helped me. She didn't do the spot-by-spot editing, but sometimes I'd have a question, hey, does this thing work or does that thing, and she'd help. Plus, just reading it again helps so much, and reading it aloud to her gave me a good reason to look over it again. Sort of like it does when I'm reading it to you guys, which I found 2 typos this time through. It's never perfect. The cover picture is an edited version of the cover picture for The Worst of All Possible Worlds. I did ask the author for permission, and he was fine with it. The original inspiration for this story was a video, which is unfortunately no longer available, but here's a quick summary I wrote. Twilight and/or Star Swirl realized that every time Starlight traveled into the past, it split the timeline rather than overwriting it. Together, they develop a spell to travel between the timelines and try to patch them up. But since it's such a big job, they end up forming a task force, identified by their hourglass cutie marks. I think there was some explanation about how the group had retroactively always been there, but I'm not sure. Anyway, this obviously doesn't use all of those pieces. That was just the start of the idea. Well, thank you all for listening, and I hope to see you again next chapter. I hope you enjoyed. And goodbye, everyone. Have a pleasant day.